Hey there guys, welcome back, and today I'll be doing the next part for what if Cabba was in Univers 7 instead of Univers 6. Now last time we left off, we had the group defeating Frieza and having to stay on Namek to wish back their friends. And before we get into too much more, I just want to quickly explain that the reason I've put out another part for the Cabba what if is because I'm currently going to be out of town, meaning I'm not going to have a lot of time to edit and not got a lot of time to do the voiceover. And this was the only script I had ready at the time, so this is just the part that will be coming out. If I come back a little bit earlier, I'll give us a different part, but for now this is all I've got ready. So let's jump right into it, and I'm sorry about having two parts of this out so fast. Now, 3 months have passed, and the group are waiting to wait the wish on the Dragon Balls, with the Namekians explaining how the dragon has been upgraded to bring back multiple people at once. So the group decide that they'll bring back Krillin, Yamcha and Chaozu, wording the wish correctly, asking to bring back all those killed in the Saiyan attack, and also to bring back Krillin, meaning they've used two wishes here. Now, Yamcha and Chaozu do come back and they appear on Earth, however Tien refuses and actually wants to stay on King Kai's planet to get some more training in. After all, he wants to show his growth a bit better, and everyone understands this, meaning the group actually has one more wish, with also Krillin showing up on Namek. I didn't say that. So with the last wish remaining, they don't really know what to do. However, they quietly hear Cabba ask something, asking if it's okay, with Goku and Piccolo already knowing what he wants to wish for, and they sort of look at each other and give each other a nod, as if to say yes, that's fine. So after this is done, Cabba steps up, saying, "Can you bring back the one known as Raditz?" With the dragon being able to grant this. Bringing back Raditz on Earth, who just sort of stands there in the middle of nowhere, not really sure what to do. Now that he's back, the group need to figure out a way to get back, and they just take the ship Goku brought to get to Namek, which only takes them 6 days to get back on, after stocking up with some Namekian food and a little bit of water. Now upon arrival, they soon find Yamcha holding Raditz by the collar of his Saiyan armour, explaining how he just decided to detain him until they had an idea of what to do with him. Cabba steps up, explaining how he'll take Raditz from here, with Raditz being really confused with what Cabba's doing on the other side. He then tells Raditz to follow him, and both fly off in the distance. Raditz didn't really understand what to do, however he understands that he needs to follow Cabba here. After all, he's just been held hostage for 6 days, and he really just wants to leave that general area. Now, Cabba explains everything which has happened recently. After all, Yamcha didn't really get into too much detail. But the quick run by is that Goku managed to defeat Frieza, your brother, and he also managed to defeat Vegeta when he came to attack this planet. Your brother not only defeated the person who was our king, our prince even, he defeated the person who has ruled over us for years and told us what to do. And on top of all of that, he achieved the legend known as the Super Saiyan state. Hearing all of this, Raditz tries to digest everything that he's just heard. Not only was he surprised to hear that Vegeta is dead, and it was by the hands of Frieza, but his brother Kakarot managed to kill Frieza, and now his brother is the legend, the Super Saiyan, and he doesn't really know what to say, and he's in a moment of shock. He's had a really weird 6 days. He was dead, he was brought back to life. Someone who he assumes is an Earthling came, beat him up with ease, and then took him to a place where he was held hostage in some degree, until not only his younger brother, the Namekian that killed him, his nephew who beat him up a little bit, his best friend, all showed up at once, and now his best friend's told him everything that's happened over the last year and a bit he's been dead. It sort of is not sitting well, and it's a lot of information for him to take in at once. But for a brief moment, after hearing Frieza and Vegeta were dead, Raditz felt free. He's no longer going to be looked down upon and treated like dirt. And for the first time in a few years, the Saiyan smiled. A genuine smile. But then it's soon covered up by the realisation that he doesn't have anywhere to go. He doesn't know anyone other than Cabba. This is sort of a weird moment for him. And Cabba soon goes on to explain that he is welcome to stay on this planet. The people here gave him a second chance, and they're now willing to give you a second chance. Thanks to what Cabba showed off on Namek, everyone believes Cabba to be a good enough person to do this. He explains that if he wants to take this second chance, we will both get to live the rest of our lives here on Earth. And instead of destroying the universe, we can try and bring good to it. With Raditz not really wanting to be a goody two-shoes, he almost retaliates. However, I believe he is much more open to the idea of being a good guy, and he probably is a better person than he was in canon, as he grew up around a lot of kind-hearted Saiyans, such as his mother, Cabba, and even his father to some degree was not like other Saiyans. So I believe him to probably be a lot kinder here. Nothing that would change too much, but I believe he would be much more easily changed to a good person. Now, before he does say anything which he might regret, he thinks about it a little more, and soon realises he doesn't have any other options, and he wants to give his best friend a chance to show him what Earth has, and agrees to see everything this Earth has to offer. Now, after hearing this, Cabba is happy and puts on a smile, saying that they're going to go see his brother. Goku of course heading home to see Chi-Chi with Gohan, who isn't too happy that they were gone for so long, but gives both of her favourite people a hug. Now, it's probably been a few hours since Goku got home, and Raditz and Cabba show up. Goku's the only person to walk outside and greet Raditz, and Gohan gives Cabba a small wave. Chi-Chi and Gohan aren't too sure about Raditz, but Goku obviously is. Goku loves trying to give people a better chance in life. And the two brothers soon share a bit of an awkward encounter, with Raditz not really saying much, Goku setting down what he believes needs to be done. Goku explains how he's excited to see his brother and is looking forward to being able to spar with not only him but Cabba, who are both super strong. He soon makes it clear that if Raditz wants to do anything to cause any harm to anything or anyone on this planet, he won't think twice about ending him. It doesn't matter if Cabba's shown he's a good person, Raditz needs to show he's a good person. Making Goku's older brother gulp a little bit. After all, this is the person who just defeated Frieza and is apparently a Super Saiyan. Raditz is happily going to follow these rules, with Raditz explaining how he will do this. Now, Raditz, after hearing Goku's threats, does obey by the rules, which Cabba and Goku set out for him. And for the next few months, Cabba and Raditz live at Goku's house, with the two just sort of bumming out there until they can figure out what they're going to do. This is one, mostly so Goku can keep an eye on his brother, but two, also Cabba's idea to try and turn Raditz completely good. After all, the person who gave him a second chance, Gohan, lives here, so this is the best approach they can do. Now, like I said, Raditz is probably much better of a person here, so it's not going to take a lot. However, from the start, he is not a very good person. With him not being evil per se, he's just a dick. And you could probably compare him to somewhat like Android Saga Vegeta, where he isn't good, but he's definitely somewhere near there. And slowly, over a few months, he does slowly become a better person. And this is thanks to the likes of Cabba and Gohan, partially. But surprisingly, the person who made him turn good faster was Chi-Chi. She surprised the Saiyan. He wasn't expecting a human woman to be so Saiyan-like. And at multiple points in time, he would scream at the Saiyan and she would argue with him because he would stop Gohan from studying or he would stop Goku from farming. He was mostly just being a nuisance. He wouldn't clean up, he would make a mess, he would be rude, and Chi-Chi just had enough of it. And at some point, the two even had a fight. Not that Chi-Chi won, and not that Chi-Chi even stood a chance, but she just shocked the Saiyan enough that it would make him, take a good hit off her. Now, this is the main driving force which made him become good slowly. After all, it's sort of what happened to Vegeta, except this time it's his sister-in-law. Like I said, this is sort of like what happened between Vegeta and Bulma, but a bit different. Now, like I said, he has slowly become a better person, and he's someone who the whole Sun family gets along with. With Raditz understanding that Gohan doesn't like to spar too much, he tries to not ask him too many times. However, he does try to make sure that he's definitely training. And he always makes sure to train with both Cabba and Goku. After all, this is a good way for them to bond, and soon Goku and Raditz have a decent relationship. At this point, I would believe Raditz to be a bit of a mix between both Goku and Bardock, where he's still a proud Saiyan, but he cares about the family around him, and even cares about the Earth just a little bit, but he's still very much a dick. And like I said, his life is spent at the Sun family house for about 6 months, where eventually Chi Chi kicks him out. She explains how she's now pregnant and they actually need the extra space, and because they've been living with four Saiyans, her money is just not very good at the moment. She's had to feed a lot of Saiyans recently, and she just can't be dealing with it anymore. She explains how she set up something where Bulma would give them somewhere to live for a while, go over to Capsule Corp, with the two actually moving in with Bulma, which is Raditz's second time meeting her. So, this is very new. He soon realises how Bulma is very much like a Saiyan woman as well, and this is very surprising to him. But this is also Raditz's first time meeting up with the other Z fighters properly after his revival, with the likes of Yamcha being there, which has a bit of a weird moment. I would now put Raditz above Yamcha, thanks to some training with Goku and Cabba over the years, and I would also put him above Krillin, who's probably there a lot as well. Now, much like what happened between Bulma and Vegeta, I believe Raditz and Bulma would soon grow somewhat of a relationship. With the Saiyan not sure how to feel about this. After all, he seems to care a lot about Bulma in a very short time, but he doesn't really want to show these feelings. And the reason I believe he would care about her is mostly because he saw how Chi-Chi and Goku interacted, and also it's probably a Saiyan instinct to try and carry on your lineage. I think Plus Ultraman said it best, where it's probably a survival tactic to keep your bloodline going, and I completely agree with that logic, so I'm going to be using it here. But also because he's more like his father, which is another Saiyan who cared about his family weirdly a lot. Which means after a few months the two do become a couple. I'd say about 3 months. And this means Raditz has access to a gravity chamber a lot easier, and also spends a lot more time at Capsule Corp. And this does actually help calm down the Saiyan a bit more. And it also leaves his friend Cabba feeling really happy for him. And I know I've covered a lot of Raditz in this part, and the reason is it's sort of just supposed to explain where I see Raditz ending up in the Z Fighters. And instead of Cabba taking the role of Vegeta, I've seen Raditz take the role of Vegeta, as I see them two more alike than Cabba, who's a very kind-hearted person. I always think of him as a bit closer to Gohan when it comes to personality. However, he had a lot of traits which are like Vegeta, but Raditz just being that little bit more like Vegeta. So instead of having Vegeta this time, we have Raditz. Now, the reason I also haven't covered a lot about Cabba this time, even though it's his what if, is mostly because I want to pair him with someone. I don't know who, and I've thought about it a lot, and I just have no idea who he suits. I didn't see him getting on with Bulma too well. She just didn't seem to match his personality in my eyes. And I've thought about other people, but I just can't seem to find anyone I agree with in my head. But maybe hearing some of your opinions would help me figure it out a bit better. So if anyone would like to share and give me some ideas of who he should get with, that would mean a lot and it would help me. But for the most part, Cabba settles into Earth life very easily. He spends most of his time either training with Goku, Raditz, and sometimes even Gohan, and occasionally he will train with all of them. And he finds enjoyment in life on Earth, with him being happy to now have a wide group of friends who he cares about deeply, with him being very close with the likes of Piccolo, Goku, and obviously Raditz, them being the three people he spends a lot of time with. Now, he does feel left out on the fact that he doesn't have a partner like two of his closest friends do, and I could actually see him going out with Krillin and Yamcha looking for ladies, but I don't believe any would catch Cabba's eyes enough. After all, he's probably looking for someone a bit more Saiyan-like. However, 2 years go by after the events of Namek, and Goku's second son Goten is born, with Raditz noting how similar the hybrid looks to their father. And along this time, Bulma also falls pregnant and is probably a few months into her pregnancy when the group finally sense a few larger powers appear out of nowhere. The group grow worried and they don't really know how to counteract these powers. After all, they're a bit stronger than Goku. But that's all I'm going to cover this time. I'm sorry this was a bit longer than I intended, and I'm sorry if it's not the greatest, but I'm actually quite happy with the end results. I don't think I did it too much justice when it came to the speaking part, but when I was writing the script, I actually really enjoyed it, and thinking over it, I think it's quite believable. I saw Raditz being a much better person here, thanks to the influence of Cabba at a young age, and also his mother. So we've now got Bardock Goku-y sort of Raditz, and a Cabba who is looking for love. So I hope everyone enjoyed, and I'm looking forward to doing the next part of this What If. I'm not sure what the next What If I'm going to do is. It will probably be what if Gohan died to Raditz, but that'll probably just be a 0.5 part itself, because I like doing them in between the Namek and Android Saga, and I'm going to start doing one in between the Android Saga and the Buu Saga. It's just sort of fill everyone in of what happens during this time. But like I said, that's the end of this part. I hope everyone enjoyed. Have a great day or a good night, and I'll see you next time.